let's learn how to do a knit stitch. So I have a poem that I saw pieces of it and then made it my own. It is not the classic one. It just makes more sense to me. So up through the fence, catch the sheep, bring it back through, and off it leaps. Now I used it in here. You can use he or she. You can decide the gender of each stitch's sheep. It's up to you. I was once saying he, and a child corrected me and said that their sheep were she's. All right, so I'll be saying it a lot, but that is the poem. All right, so I've got about 20 stitches here, and the goal is to have 20 stitches when we're done. We should be able to do that. Shouldn't be a problem. All right. It's a little bit like reading a book that your stitches, you know how when you read you go left to right? You go left to right, left to right. Well, with knitting, your stitches go from left to right. And each of these is a stitch. Each loop here, that is a stitch. So when we're going up the fence, so we're going to look at the first stitch first. And I'm going to get our tail out of the way. Okay. It's one loop. They are all interconnected, so you can't leave them all down there and just have the first one come way up to the top. They all will need to be pulled up a little bit closer. So you want to make sure that your hands stay at the tips of your knitting needles, even if your knitting needle is really long, because otherwise they will all fall off. You don't want that. All right, so we're going to go up through the fence, means go up through the stitch, and then you're going to take your yarn, go around the back and in between, so catch the sheep. And then to bring it back through, you're going to bring this point down that needle and come back through that stitch. So it caught that other yarn, this yarn here, and now it's through. And then off it leaps. We're going to take this old stitch off and then just give that a little bit of a tug. Okay, so that is stitch number 1. And just like I was saying over here, you want to keep your fingers on this so it doesn't fall off. So we go up through the fence, catch the sheep. So you're coming, technically if you look down at it, you're going counterclockwise. So you catch your sheep, then bring it back through. So you're almost putting this needle down along that needle. Then off it leaps. You're taking the old stitch off. All right. So we started with 20 stitches total. If we count right now, which will take too long, there are 18 here and 2 here. We have not gained any stitches. Those are special techniques that often are made at the beginning and people think they're mistakes. All right, so up through the fence. So you're going up through that stitch, up and behind, and your yarn is in the back. Catch the sheep, bring it back through, bring it back down, and off it leaps. And you can use your needle to actually push the old stitch off. And so if you look at these, see how there's not really anything underneath, and here there's already a row of stitches. That is how your knitting grows. It's by making lines of loops. Up through the fence, catch the sheep, bring it back through, and off it leaps. Up through the fence, catch the sheep, bring it back through, and off it leaps. Up through the fence, catch the sheep, bring it back through, and off it leaps. Now, I'm having some trouble making sure that you can see this because my fingers are very much on the stitches, because otherwise they will fall off. So I've gone up through the fence, caught the sheep, especially right here. You want to make sure that you're holding on to this end here, the yarn here. You want to hold on to that and hold on to these stitches, because if you're able to hold on to this while this comes back through, you can hold on to that stitch and you won't lose it. Otherwise it can sometimes get lost. Up through the fence, catch the sheep, bring it back through, and off it leaps. It's very important that the old stitch comes off, otherwise you end up making it into the same stitch and you are adding stitches, which is something you do when you're more advanced. Up through the fence, catch the sheep, bring it back through, and off it leaps. Up through the fence, catch the sheep, bring it back through, and off it leaps. Now when you're doing this, all of these are interconnected. It's literally the same string. So sometimes you might find that you've got one that's a bit bigger, a bit of a bigger loop. Don't worry, it will all soothe out. When I first started, I knit so tightly because I was trying to get them all the same size that I could barely move my stitches. You don't need to pull tight. You want it to be kind of snug, like you want it to be fitted to the needle, but you don't need to pull so tightly or leave it really loose. You want it to be fitted to the needle. So up through the fence, catch the sheep, bring it back through, and off it leaps. Up through the fence, catch the sheep, bring it back through, and off it leaps. Up through the fence, catch the sheep, bring it back through, and off it leaps. Up through the fence, catch the sheep, bring it back through, and off it leaps. Up through the fence, catch the sheep, bring it back through, and off it leaps. Up through the fence, catch the sheep, bring it back through, and off it leaps. Up through the fence, catch the sheep, bring it back through, and off it leaps. Up through the fence, catch the sheep, bring it back through, and off it leaps. And now all of my stitches are done here, are gone from the left, and now we're on the right. So what do? We start again. And since it needs to start in your left hand, you switch hands. Okay, so looking at this, if this yarn is back here, it can be confusing. You can think that there are two stitches here. So you need to take a look at where your yarn is and find that stitch and only go through that one. That first stitch can be a doozy, but it's usually only the first stitch. Up through the fence, catch the sheep, bring it back through, and off it leaps. Up through the fence, catch the sheep, bring it back through, and off it leaps. So what if you need to take a break and you put them down and say you don't have two different color knitting needles? Though it's advisable to usually take a break at the end of a row, not always possible. So how you tell where it was is your yarn, the noose is always going to be attached to your new stitches in your right hand. Okay? So when you pick it back up, the yarn should be attached to your right needle. Ready to go up through the fence, catch the sheep, bring it back through, and off it leaps. And that is how to do a knit stitch.